Hey guys, just wanted to share my deck list from this past regionals in Pasadena. I did get a top 64, came 40th place overall, playing into 6 Shanks, one Ploofy, one Zoro, and one Lucci. I did lose against one Shanks, and I lost against the Zoro I played. Zoro's a really rough matchup, didn't draw into my Shiryus, but let's get into the deck profile. So I am playing 3 Myra Begins, self-explanatory. I'm not playing 4 just because the counter is kind of needed with this aggro meta. 3 felt just right. Let's get into the Black Hole. So Black Hole kind of underperformed. I'm not sure if it's just because I played 6 Shanks or I'm not sure what happened. So I might look into cutting this into 2. I know in the mirror this is really good, but I didn't play mirror. So yeah, I'm in 2 other regionals in May, so I'll let you guys know how that goes. Finger Pistol, very important card. Against Shanks, they like to drop Luffy under 5 down turn, and this is kind of a way to deal with it. If you don't draw into this on curve, it's kind of tough because it feels like you have to swing your whole 4 down with leader into Luffy to try to alleviate some pressure. But yeah, 4 is essential. Would not cut this card. 1 Katarina Devon. I feel like it's good. Once you put this card on the board, your opponent usually starts to overthink because it gets double attack. So they usually try to make you block with it so it could get rid of it. So in that sense, it's really good. I think I keep this at 1 because there are emergency situations where the double attack does come in. But other than that, I wouldn't put more than 1 or 2. So pretty good performing card. Use it once. 1 Liberation. There's a well, not a resurgence, but Dofi is still a thing, so I'm not sure where to go from here. Luckily, I didn't play any Dofi, but I feel like 2 is kind of needed if people start to play Dofi more. I used it once, and that was against the Zoro. I'd still lost pretty bad because I didn't see my Shiryus, but this is a card where I have to kind of see if I'm going to play or not anymore, but I think one is right too, but we'll see how the meta evolves. 4 Kuzan, you guys know this card is cracked. It's kind of the MVP of the deck. Your hand gets pretty low sometimes, and playing this card and into either another Burgess or a blocker, and it draws you a card, makes it feel so good because you replenish your hand. Yeah, kind of self-explanatory. 4 Burgess, honestly, probably the best card in the deck, in my opinion. If you get to late game before your 10 down turn and you have 1 or 2 of these on the field with like 2 life, it's pretty easy sailing from there. Especially going first, if you just play a Burgess with a blocker like the little 2-knee blocker, it's pretty good. So if you have a Burgess and a blocker and then you just go teach, it's kind of hard to beat. And especially if you have 2 or 3 on board. If you have 3, you're just kind of winning if you have a big trash. But yeah, MVP of the deck should definitely always be a 4 of. Teach, another card you kind of don't need explanation for. Into Shanks is so cracked. Yeah, I'm not going to go into this because it's self-explanatory. The stage 4 of course. I think in almost every matchup, I mulligan for the stage. If I didn't mulligan for the stage and didn't get it, I'm mulligan into something that could start the stage. This card's too good. Goes through your whole deck, fills up your trash for Burgess. 4 of is kind of mandatory in my opinion. Even if you draw too much into it, you could just pitch it, or you could just use a stage to discard a stage. Or sometimes you can, if you're really looking for something and digging for something, you could use a stage to play another stage and just keep on searching. So see some people run 3 of this, kind of crazy. Definitely run 4. 4 Stronger. So with my list, I am playing 8 2Ks, but Stronger is definitely your best 2K. It reduces, and it did came up in one of my against the Ploofy matchup. He did drop 2 Luffy Taros, and with one of them, I just used a Stronger into Finger Pistol to KO it. Does kind of feel bad using a 2K and discarding a card, but if you have bricks in your hand, you can just discard a brick to hopefully draw into a counter or something. So I feel like A2Ks is really needed in this aggro meta. I don't think I will switch up to 2Ks. I think 8 feels so fine. Keeps you at a healthy life against all these aggro, especially against Ploofy. But stronger is best, your best 2K for sure. For Shiryu, I only played Shiryu for the Zoro matchup. And when I did play the matchup, unfortunately, I only saw one Shiryu and one Liberation. And with that matchup, it's kind of hard to tell when to pitch. So you're kind of gambling on when to pitch because you pitch and then they don't play the chopper, and then you waste a card. So kind of tough. I felt like if I would have drew into one more Shiryu, I feel like the game would have been a little bit closer. The game ended up being him with 5 life and 1 card in hand when he beat me. So if I could have established a couple of blockers and maybe a Shiryu or 2, I feel like it would have gotten better. But it's pretty good card against the Shank matchup. They like to play that new Sanji. You just KO it. They do draw a card, but alleviates pressure too, and it's really hard to swing into. So, especially if they know they're getting in trouble into late game and they have to KO a character or remove a character, swinging a big body like Aurelian to a 7 feels kind of bad for them. So, pretty good card. Maybe I would cut this down to 3. But we'll see. Zoro is kind of popular right now. At Pasadena, especially, there was a sea of Shanks and Zoros. Kind of rough, but luckily I only played 1. So Van Augur, I do play 3 Van Augur. Van Augur comes up clutch. So it comes up clutch in multiple ways. In the mirror is pretty good. And Ploofy is really good too if you play Doc Q. I think Doc Q is needed. I know most people aren't playing Doc Q now. But in Ploofy, it feels like they have to attack into it or you're moving all their 4Ks. So I know they do play a lot of 5Ks, but it's almost like a pseudo blocker that draws you into something. Pretty good card. I wouldn't drop this card more than 3. Maybe I'll add a 4th, but I gotta test more. Shiryu. So these are just my other 2Ks. I use it nothing, just literally for a 2K. If you have to play this on curve, or if you have to play this at all, you're kind of in trouble. But searchable 2K. 2 Doc Qs. So Doc Q is not really needed in a lot of matchups. So this is where I kind of had troubles either not playing it or playing it. But into Ploofy, this card is really good, and I knew there was gonna be a bunch of Ploofys. This card was clutch in the Ploofy matchup. It's also good against Bonnie, but you're already kind of winning that matchup, so you kind of don't need it. I'm stuck between playing more or cutting it out completely, because in Shanks is just kind of a 1K counter, which is always nice, but in Shanks is kind of useless. I think 2 is the right number for me because you could search it and you could get it off stage. So I wouldn't cut it more. So Doc Q feels nice. I'd leave it at 2. Shout out to Awaken TCG too, because I saw some of his list and went off that. I do see the list that plays the triggers with after TCG's list. I did play it for a while, and it does feel good, but it almost feels like it's kind of luck based. But I mean, it's a card game though, so luck kind of sometimes doesn't get involved. So I played 3 Lafitte. Lafitte actually is really good. Most people, when you play it, they feel like they have to swing into it. So if you go first and you play it in your 9-Don turn, or if you play it even on your 7-Don turn, you just leave it up, and then on your 9-Don turn, you search and play 2 Burgesses out. It's really good. Some players even on your 10-Don turn would swing into it, so it's almost like a blocker, which is a mistake on their part, because most of the time you're just playing Teach on your 10-Don turn if you're not in trouble. This is a card that I might add 4 of because it is really good. Yeah, we'll see. I think 4 of this is correct. This is probably my only change I would make. Vasco Shot 2 of. Vasco Shot came in kind of clutch because what I like to do is on my Teach turn, I like to have a Blackbeard, a Burgess, and then a Vasco Shot. So that way it alleviates pressure for them from swinging a lot, and then I'm at a healthy life, like either at 2 or 1 life with a lot of cards in my hand most of the time. I would add maybe a 3rd one. So I'll have to play around and play with a list with 3. But overall, the list felt great. I was 1-2 and then climbed up all the way to 7-2. So I got really lucky. Shanks to me is an easy matchup. They had to really high roll for them to beat you, or you have to really low roll. The Shanks I lost to opened up with 2 Luffys, 2 Dragons, and then into Shanks. So I had to go for game. He had 2 life with like 6 cards in hand. I think I swung like 12, 13, 13, and he countered out the last 13. So felt bad, but overall pretty good experience at Pasadena. Hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you guys.